Welcome to the Voices of Tezos India, and I'm your host, Sai Sandesh Markham. This show is a Tezos India initiative. Tezos India has been dedicated to grow the Tezos community in India and also promote the Tezos ecosystem by increasing its adoption. On this show, we speak to the Indian projects that are built on the Tezos blockchain and to the teams behind it and learn their story. On this episode, we speak to Bernd Oostrum, who is the co-founder of Tezsure, PlentyDEFI and Naan Wallet. We talk about his journey into blockchain, what Tezsure is all about, and also about NFTs. This conversation is certainly fun and has a lot of knowledge drops, so please do listen to the entire episode. So let's get right into it. This is Bernd Oostrum. Well, hello Bernd, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. Thank you so much for accepting to do this, and welcome to Voices of Tezos India.
Thanks, man. Great to be here.
All right, I know you're really busy and we got this thing delayed for a bit. So I'm going to start off because I've heard that it's really cool to talk to you. So let me talk to you.
So my journey.
How did you get into the blockchain industry?
The short or the long story?
Interesting one.
Jeez, man, it's been such a long journey so far already. Looking back at it, started 2014 when I first got introduced to Bitcoin, as most of the people in this space. And was cool stuff. Had to learn a lot about money itself to fully grasp what Bitcoin was all about. But the thing that got me most excited was the launch of Ethereum. Because I have a background of software engineering, so now it was possible to build stuff on a blockchain, or it was already possible, but not like with smart contracts that Ethereum introduced. And fairly quickly after that, the first ICO on Ethereum happened, called the DAO. We hear a lot about DAOs these days. But back then it was like the first time that something like that was attempted, and a lot of money was raised, including some of mine. And Ethereum was something like $7 or something back then. And I was hyped for it, but then suddenly I still remember where I was. That kind of an event was it when the DAO hack happened. Like I was in the gym scrolling through Reddit, and then suddenly someone posted that the DAO smart contract was being drained, and there was a lot of panic in the market. I also panic sold my Ethereum. At around that price. A lot of regrets for that. Never panic sell your assets. The first tip. But yeah, Ethereum scared me away a bit, not only because of that hack, but also how it was handled afterwards. So Ethereum forked shortly after. Maybe it's a bit too deep into that specific moment, but yeah, if you're interested in what happened back then on Ethereum, definitely search for the DAO hack. Many good articles were written and explained it a lot better than I can. But for me personally, it had a lot of effect because I wanted to find an alternative to Ethereum, because my trust was damaged a little bit. So I found Tezos. And Tezos predicted stuff that happened on Ethereum before it happened. They already said this is going to be an issue. And they had a few other cool proposals in their white paper and position paper about upgradability, and that really piqued my interest. And it was 2017, I believe. And then I wanted to build stuff. I wanted to build something cool on blockchain, but I didn't know what. Other people in the market apparently knew very well what to build. Like you saw projects like Trump coin, Putin coin, like you saw even the useless Ethereum token was a thing, and it raised like $100,000.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to figure out how do I come up with a good idea, because apparently these projects had good ideas. Now looking back at it, of course they didn't, but back then it was definitely confusing. So I joined, instead of a startup, I joined a traditional finance institution, an insurance company. And we did cool stuff there. We did a lot of blockchain projects, experiments, proof of concepts, with other insurance companies, with the Dutch government. But yeah, it was not being pushed to production. And also, after a certain period, the stuff like, someone said to me, if you want to innovate, you should go to Silicon Valley. And they didn't see themselves as a tech company. So yeah, I don't think if you are a financial institution, you should see yourself as a tech company. Otherwise, you're not gonna survive. So yeah, there was a misalignment in interest, and so I took their advice literally and went to Silicon Valley. And that's where I met my co-founder Oom Malvia, who was here on this show a few weeks back. And together we met each other in an entrepreneurship training in Silicon Valley. And I had only a few skills, so I could code a little bit. I learned how to do I learned how to explain complex stuff in a simple manner at the insurance company, because with all these people, you had to do these presentations. What is blockchain? What is Ethereum? What is proof of work, proof of stake, all that stuff. So I had a few skills, but I didn't have the entrepreneurial skills. So for me, it was like an extra piece for my own journey puzzle, so to say. So it was a very logical step to take, to go there, and didn't go there with the goal to meet Oom or to meet or start from there. But that just happened, and 4 years later we're still building together on Tezos. So yeah, we at that moment, there in Silicon Valley, we chose Tezos. First starting with an insurance focused idea, because my background in the insurance company, but later we pivoted to DeFi, and now we are building DeFi and building solutions for DeFi, but also NFTs. So since then, since 2018 till now, I spent around a year in India. I lived in Gurgaon, I lived in Bangalore. Good times. But funny story, like at a certain point in beginning of 2019, we were trying to raise capital, our first round, running out of money. I wasn't even able to pay a ticket out of India anymore. So I was already making peace with myself that I was got to be an Indian citizen from now on. And then an entity that's pretty well known in Tezos right now, Tezos Commons, did one of the first Tezos focused events in Draper University, actually in Silicon Valley. So they asked me to come over. I said, sure, if you pay for my ticket, and also my ticket back to Amsterdam, so I can see my family again. So yeah, they did that, and while being there, we closed our first investment round, and from there we started growing. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff happened. Stuff like that happened along the way. We also, Oom and I, were in incubator in the crypto valley in Switzerland a few years back, 2019, I believe. Yeah, in the summer of 2019. And there we worked out of the same office as the Tezos Foundation.
Wow.
So we were able to connect with them, discuss a lot of stuff with them. And right there, we came up with the idea to start Tezos India. And yeah, because we were there, we were able to quickly iterate on that idea together with the foundation. Like otherwise it would have been a lot of back and forth, and maybe it probably didn't even happen, because yeah, that stuff takes time and you need to be together and discuss ideas. So yeah, all these things happened very naturally from the start of Tezsure, these DeFi products, and also the creation of Tezos India. So it's been quite a journey. Long story, I probably missed a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, good times. But yeah, since COVID, I didn't leave the Netherlands for the last 2 years. So would love to travel again soon to India.
That's awesome. I would love to meet you. So just by the way you explain your entire journey, it seems like you've had a very illustrious career in Web3 and blockchain, one of the first person to actually understand more, and especially in the Tezos space. Could you tell us what are the projects you are currently involved in, and what do they do? What are the projects about?
So with Tezsure, we do multiple projects. Last year, we were even working on an algorithmic stablecoin, but that was paused to launch one of the first yield farms on Tezos called Plenty. And that was launched last year, and that project evolved into a token-to-token exchange, decentralized exchange, or another you can also call it an automated market maker.
Right.
And a few months back, we announced that we were merging the wrap protocol, the Ethereum bridge, into the Plenty project as well. And we are planning to launch more bridges. So now the Plenty project is like a full-fledged decentralized platform, a one-stop shop for DeFi on Tezos. It's going to be the place where you can bridge your assets from Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche to Tezos, and where you can actually do cool stuff with it.
Right.
Earning, trading, stuff like that. On the other hand, we have Naan Wallet, a mobile app for iOS and Android, with a library that we developed ourselves, a Flutter library. And Flutter is a framework, a mobile framework, cross-platform, developed by Google. And what the cool thing about that framework is that it runs very smoothly, or you can develop apps cross-platforms that run very smoothly even on old phones. So what we've seen on the last few years on cross-platform frameworks is that performance of these apps are not really good, but now with this framework, it becomes a lot better. And we've been following that framework since the incorporation of Tezsure, always monitoring it, but now it's ready to be used. And it's one of the fastest growing repos on GitHub, the Flutter framework. So definitely happy that we spend a lot of time in that. And also that app is like a showcase of what that library can also do for other developers. Yeah, we want to make that. We see that we think that mobile is the most important thing right now to develop for, because many people in the world only have a mobile phone. Like we were all very happy with our MacBook, iPad, multiple phones, and trading expensive JPEGs. Rich people get more rich, all that stuff. But why is blockchain so interesting? Why is DeFi so interesting? Why are NFTs so interesting? Because it brings the entire world together, not only these Western countries to get rich even richer than they already are. So yeah, mobile first, making this entire space accessible for everyone. So that's why the Flutter framework comes back here again, because our app can now run very smoothly on an old Android phone. And many people have an old Android phone, not the newest iPhone or the newest Android. So yeah, I'm super excited about the next few months to see the relaunch of that app happening, because we developed the app over the course of the last few months. We were already working on a redesign, on a relaunch, but the user experience was not a step up. So we went back to the drawing board. It needs to be an easy to use app for anyone. So same thing with the like, maybe that's a bit pretentious or too far-fetched, but you look at the iPhone, anyone can pick it up, right? Like your 4-year-old nephew or your 70-year-old grandma, they know how to use it. And that's definitely not the case with blockchain solutions right now, but we should definitely pursue that. And that's what we're trying to do with Naan Wallet.
Absolutely. I think Naan Wallet has one of the most delicious logos that I've ever seen. I think it's so cute. I just love it. So most of us know why Tezos is chosen by many projects just like yours. But can you tell the audience why many projects are choosing Tezos? Like, if somebody is still confused, should I choose Tezos?
It's a good question. I've been. The reason why I chose Tezos was it was developed by people that came out of the financial industry, and it had this aspect of formal verification of your smart contracts. And that formal verification, there are multiple steps, there are multiple elements that make Tezos interesting. But the first one that I was most interested in back when I found Tezos was the formal verification aspect, because that DAO hack that I previously mentioned could have been avoided with something like formal verification. So that's definitely one of the first things that got me into Tezos. But now it's not even the thing that excites me the most about Tezos. Now the thing is more the upgradability of the network, the on-chain governance. We've seen Tezos upgrade multiple times already, and with the next upgrade, a new consensus algorithm is introduced. And as far as I know, that didn't happen yet in the blockchain space in such a way that it's happening through on-chain governance. So that's super cool to see, and it works. It just works, and other blockchains also see this feature as the killer feature. I saw the Polkadot founder also pointing it out. Vitalik previously mentioned it as well in one of his talks. Like, this is the thing that Tezos does really well, and also pointed out in the position paper written years ago by Arthur Brightman, one of the co-founders of Tezos. Tezos aims to be the last cryptocurrency. That's the line from the position paper, and that's really true. You can just continue to upgrade. You have a system in place to upgrade. You're not building the blockchain. You can build the perfect blockchain for this moment, but like in a few months, the perfect blockchain looks different. So how are you going to get there? Like, if you have no system in place to get there, you're going to get stuck. And we've seen that happening with Ethereum as well. So the 2.0 Ethereum became like a meme because it took so long. And again, like, then they're upgraded, and then what? Like, you need to continuously evolve, and Tezos is made for that. And then the third thing, the proof of stake consensus algorithm. Jesus, I can barely pronounce these words. now not that special anymore.
Mm.
But when it launched, it was the first proof of stake blockchain, and Ethereum also wants to go to proof of stake. All these other blockchains use proof of stake, but in a very different manner as Tezos. Tezos uses liquid proof of stake.
True.
So what that means is that you can always move around your stake. It's not frozen. You don't need to wait for unlocking. You can always move around your Tez, and that's a killer feature, because I never, like, when I looked at other blockchains and tried to do the staking, they asked me to lock up my funds. For me, it was really confusing, but that's how many people that are in the blockchain space see how staking should work. But that's not the case. You don't have to do that. And Tezos is a very elegant way to do that, to keep your Tez liquid and not force you to lock up any assets.
That's awesome. That's really good. I think you've summed it up really nice. I just take that one bit and then you can just post it. And I think more and more people are going to at least be encouraged to learn about Tezos. So that's great. And so you've been in India, you've been here for a while, and you've set up the Tezos India, you've helped set up the Tezos India. How do you think from that day to now, how is the Tezos ecosystem shaping up in India?
Wow, that's a great question. It's been an amazing journey. I can remember the first event we did at I believe it was at Bangalore, in Bangalore. No, was it Delhi? Like, it's been so long already, so long ago already. No, it was Ohm's old university it was DTU.
Okay.
I even had food poisoning at that moment. Like the night before, I went to the hospital even to get some medicine so I could do the presentation the next day. I felt terrible, but we had to do it. And looking back at it, I'm very happy that we did it. And we did everything ourselves. Like the 1 hour before the event, we still went to the t-shirt maker to get the latest t-shirts, and some were not good, and the stickers we still had to get, and all that stuff. So it was a lot of bootstrapping that we had to do. And now it's like a well-oiled machine that's active at so many different places in India. So that ground level work was very cool to do, but it's very inspiring to see how it has grown over the course of the last few years. And now epic stuff is happening, like these fellowships brought a lot of new developers into the Tezos ecosystem, and that's what we wanted to achieve. Like, India has such a huge, India is just huge. So many people. So by default, it means that there are many developers and many blockchain enthusiasts. So you need to be there, and like, it's an opportunity for anyone to go to India and work from there. So we also hired a lot of people that came out of these fellowships and came through Tezos India, because hiring in this space is definitely a challenge. You need to have a specific skill set. You not only need to code, but you also need to have an entrepreneurial mindset, and you need to do a lot of stuff yourself. Not a lot of resources are available. So it's a niche in a niche in a niche. So it's great that Tezos India supports new startups, but also existing startups with new talented people. So it does so many different things, and it introduces new people to this amazing space, but also supporting entrepreneurs and startups and corporates even to explore this space and grow together. So yeah,
that
cool
is great.
stuff.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. That's to see what Tezos has become in 2 years is kind of crazy in India itself, and so many of them actually do respect what Tezos has been doing in the blockchain. So I guess the foundation, like you said, was built strong. Now I want to come to this because I'm a huge fan of racing. So I see that you've been an NFT advisor for Red Bull Racing and Red Bull Technologies, and I would jump to this question, first, but if I had to, so I would want to know, could you share a bit of a details of the project, like what exactly was it?
Yeah, so they're doing stuff with NFTs, right? They launched their first few NFTs on Tezos. Super cool to see, especially seeing Max with Tezos, like as a fellow Dutchman.
That's
seeing
right.
seeing him wearing the Tezos brand, and even he made a video explaining about Tezos, right? Super cool to see. But what they do with NFTs, as far as I know, this is the beginning. Okay. So we had a few interesting brainstorming sessions, and they have a lot of crazy ideas with NFTs, a lot of cool, innovative stuff that a company like Red Bull can really pull off. There's so many things you can do. One thing that was mentioned during one of the meetings was the opportunity of dropping NFTs at the top of a mountain, for example, and the first one to get there gets the NFT. It's a very Red Bull like thing to do. So those are the things that they think about, like how do we merge this already super cool stuff we do, this amazing marketing. Like I don't think there's a company that has a better marketing division than Red Bull. So like they will use Tezos, but eventually it's about the cool stuff that they build. So like we are so focused on this blockchain, and it's a cool thing, but in the end, like the end user is not going to care about if Tezos is underneath these solutions. So like Red Bull is going to do cool stuff. It's going to say powered by Tezos, but in the end, it's about this cool NFT drop that they're going to do in any kind of way or form.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I can't wait for that. I know that Red Bull has been very aggressive in its marketing, so this might be even more aggressive. So let's see where it goes. Now, just like we were speaking about Red Bull, from the past 1 year, we've seen so many partnerships that are coming to light with Tezos. For one, there is Red Bull. For second, there is Mclaren, which pretty cool. That is so cool. And the other one is Manchester United. See, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I know it even irritates me to say this, to even see it and share it, but still, that's a huge brand right there, a global brand right there. So will Web3 generally attract more partnerships, and what is the blockchain tech is going to be doing with these partnerships? Like, how are we going to be approaching companies and brands and say that this is what we're going to do to you?
Isn't it a conflict of interest for you to tweet about Manchester United?
Yes, it is. I did it only once.
Only once?
I did it only once. And I said I hate Manchester United on that.
Did you tweet the picture of Ronaldo?
Yeah. Don't rub it in.
Nice, man. Yeah, it like sometimes you see sentiments like the Tezos needs to do more marketing, or needs to do stuff through influencers, or you see other blockchains doing specific things and people pointing fingers. Why are we not doing that? They are doing that. We should also do that. But what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to educate, first of all, the general public, what is blockchain about? What is the power of blockchain? What can we do with it? And these big brands like Red Bull, Manchester United, like they can be many of the people in the world never heard of Tezos.
Yes.
And now they have seen Tezos.
Yeah.
So that's a huge win, and not something I would have imagined like a year back, that now suddenly, like a friend of my mom sent me a WhatsApp with a picture of Ronaldo. Like, hey, weren't you doing something with Tezos? Like, that's the effect this has. So
yeah,
like I am by no means a marketing expert, but I can see the value of what's happening. Like, but on the other hand, as a techie, like a network, a protocol cannot partner. It can't. Like it's a protocol. So like these partnerships are powered by Tezos, or like they are created by entities that work on Tezos, and of course it's understandable that the name is used, that these companies are partnering with Tezos, but in the end the network is not sentient. It cannot partner. But I understand that that's the way the promotion is done. Also because these other blockchains do have like a CEO and one entity behind it. So they actually partner, and in this ecosystem, it evolves in a very weird way, that it's now more common for a blockchain to have a CEO than to not have a CEO, while it's a decentralized network. So it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's just, I can get so confused by some of these stuff. Like the same thing happened back in 2017, right? With all these projects that just kept popping up and raising money like crazy. The market is not rational. The industry is definitely not rational. But it's inspiring to see that the people that are working on Tezos or that are working on these kind of deals, that they see this long-term thing, or they have the vision to think long-term and really focus on education and not get distracted by what all these other blockchains are doing.
Right.
Tezos is really doing its own thing, or the people involved. Like again, I'm saying Tezos is doing, but Tezos is not doing anything. Right. The people that are involved with Tezos, they are doing something completely different than all these other chains.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see another chain advertising or being a partner with anybody else, not yet, at least. So that's really cool. Now, coming to why Tezos NFT is so popular, and with all the names that are going around, and we see even Mclaren having their own NFTs, like they have the entire parts of the cars turned into NFTs. I own a tire, so that's clean. That's amazing. So clean NFT and green blockchain are majorly used when you associated with Tezos whenever you talk about it, and sometimes it's become more of an attraction that when you do this on Tezos, it's better for the environment. Now, can you explain what this means and how is it so important? And it's not just a marketing gimmick. Let's be straight about it.
Yeah. So Bitcoin uses the proof of work consensus algorithm. So Jesus, I didn't pronounce it in one go yet during this podcast. I'll try again, like in a few minutes, see if I can make it work then. And what that means is that it uses proof of work to validate the network. And what it means is that people use computing power to validate the network, and the Bitcoin network incentivizes you for validating that network. So what that means is that others also see this opportunity and also want to validate this network. So they also turn on their computers. So they are also using power. And while the network grows, the difficulty to find a new block or on Bitcoin, around every 10 minutes, a new block is found, and the difficulty of the network adjusts for that 10 minutes. So if more computers join, that means it would find the solution to the puzzle of finding the block. It would find it faster. So what the network automatically does, it adjusts the difficulty, and then more and more computers join, more computers join. And now the Bitcoin network uses, do you have the latest country to which it can be compared to? Like, it was like a pretty big country already that uses the same amount of energy that the Bitcoin network uses. So the network will continue to grow, and it will continue to use more power. And you can have the debate, of course, like Bitcoin is a global currency. Maybe it's justified that it uses so much power. Like it can exchange value. It's decentralized. Anyone can join it. So there's value there. And yeah, you see a lot of online discussions, or even in politics, that now governments are trying to pull that card of the environment to ban Bitcoin because it uses so many power. So much power. But yeah, I don't think that should be I don't think Bitcoin has value, and it uses power. Yes, we can try to find ways to generate green energy, of course, with just solar panels, water power, all that stuff. So, and also Bitcoin miners want to get the cheapest power possible. Because they want to earn as much money as possible. So they will try to find the cheapest energy in the world, and that's often close to, let's say, a water plant. And the places where it's the cheapest is where those plants are not even used. Often. So sometimes people use the argument that energy is stolen, or the price is being increased because of this mining operations, but it's a lot less black and white in this in the Bitcoin ecosystem. But Ethereum also uses proof of work, but wants to change to proof of stake, which is not based on validating the network with electricity, but it uses a mechanism where you have to lock value, and based with that value, you have validating rights for the network. So that's also what Tezos uses, and what this means is that there is no race for as much computing power as possible anymore. It's a different mechanism that doesn't cause while the network scales, it doesn't mean that it's also increasing in energy consumption. So with Bitcoin, that's the case. With Ethereum in its current form, it's the case. Energy consumption will increase with the network growing, but with proof of stake, that's not the case. So that means that when you are minting an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain right now, to get it on the network, it needs to a new block needs to be mined on the Ethereum network, and that network still runs on all these machines with as much power as possible. So that means that it costs a lot of energy to get that NFT minted. On Tezos, that's not the case. So there are even comparisons online to how much power or how much money it costs in electricity to mint one Ethereum NFT and one Tezos NFT. Yes, and it's a big gap. But yeah, these Ethereum NFTs caused actually for a lot of people to hate NFTs even now. Like you've seen companies like that announce like, oh, we're going to do stuff with NFTs, and default reactions under those posts on Twitter are like, oh, you hate the environment, you're killing the world. All that stuff is being replied. Well, yeah, that's the general knowledge about NFTs and about blockchain. And yeah, we're talking like how do we educate these people that Tezos is something different. That's definitely a challenge to do. But yeah, it uses a lot less energy than Ethereum NFTs.
True.
And what it also means, like, okay, so to mint on Ethereum, a lot of power is being used. But also to mint that NFT, you need to pay a lot of gas.
Yeah.
You need to pay a lot of fees for that network to get that NFT minted. And on Tezos, that's also not the case. So earlier in the podcast, I said that the current space is really for rich people to get richer. Like with NFTs on Ethereum, that is really the case because it's so expensive to mint NFTs, and by default, that means that NFTs are more expensive to compensate for that gas fee. And on Tezos, you can just for a few cents you can buy an NFT, and you can buy NFTs that are a few dollars. So it opens up this space for so many people, also people in less privileged countries. And that's what this is all about, like making all this cool stuff accessible for people who don't have access to it yet, and not only for the rich to get richer.
Absolutely. I think you explained it really well, and we see that there's so much of artists who choose Tezos over everything else because of the price and everything, and it's only the beginning, and we can see the XTC going to soar high very soon, at least for me, because I own a few NFTs.
No investment advice.
No. Okay, I'll put that up over there.
No, but one question there, or one thing to point out is that I'm not against Ethereum. Like Ethereum did awesome stuff, still doing awesome stuff. It brought so many developers in, so many new people into this space. But what I do want to say is that many in that space, in that Ethereum ecosystem, or even blockchains that are compatible to Ethereum, broaden your horizon and also look to other blockchains, because there's so much stuff out there. And you see, like, even we at Tezos, we say, oh, we're the best blockchain, but still, if you're listening to this or watching this, do your own research, see why it's epic, see why it's cool, and draw your own conclusion. That's what we did as well. But yeah, don't believe everything that anyone says online, especially when they have an ape as a profile picture.
Shots fired. That's amazing. So yeah, but do your own research and investment advice that's coming. It's been trending all over because everybody knows that we don't know which way this is going. And thank you so much for clearing that up. Now I want to talk about blockchain as a whole, the idea about the blockchain, the industry. Where do you see the adoption of blockchain in the next 5 years? And and what industries do you think should tap in early?
I don't even know where the industry is going to be in a few months, because it moves so fast. Right. So last year there was no DeFi on Tezos, and now you have 7 different decentralized exchanges. So yeah, this space moves so fast, and if anyone says to you this is going to happen in the next few years, they're lying because they can't know.
Yeah.
What I hope to see is that that killer app gets developed, hopefully by us at Tezsure.
Yeah.
But the thing that can really draw in the normies, the regular consumer, probably not from a Western country, because everything is already good here. Like, or I don't know if it's still going to be good in 5 years. That's even debatable, right?
Yeah.
With inflation going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that can be the thing that, like, only when it will go wrong in a Western country, regular consumers will be pushed to this, at least to DeFi. NFTs anyone can explore, and but I'm not sure if, like, yesterday I was at an art fair in Amsterdam. A lot of artists there, a lot of fancy Amsterdam people, like these yeah, a lot of rich, way too rich people there, buying art from each other. No one knew what NFTs were, and they weren't per se interested in it because they had their art around them. They could buy it, they could sell it, they had their own little world already, and they had no need for something else.
Totally.
So yeah, if you don't have access to anything like that, then it's going to be interesting to be in this space. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more. I would love to buy art from people from South America, from Africa, from Asia. Just, it's going to be so exciting to see these artists not having barriers that exist right now.
True. And
I hope to see more or ease of use on that side, because it's still so complex. It's still so tech focused. It's these platforms are built by developers for developers most of the time, and like maybe we do need to look at Web 2 in terms of usability and see how far they have come, and see how much they spent so much time researching how to make stuff as simple as possible, onboarding as simple as possible. It's not a bad thing to look at that and try to implement that. But at the same time, like, many of these decentralized platforms don't want to be accountable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also a balance. So yeah, excited about the next few years, but difficult to say where it's going, because like the world is such a crazy place the last few years. Like, I have, like, this NFT space became as big as it is right now.
Yeah.
Probably thanks to COVID.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to COVID, like, everybody's at home, and like, how do we create communities? How do we make sure artists can still do stuff without any galleries open or across the world? But so yeah, the stuff needs to happen in the world for these projects to react, or for something to take off. Like Clubhouse also took off, like Twitter Spaces took off, all thanks to COVID. And now inflation is gonna happen more and more, or maybe something will be done to avoid it more. But people will be pushed towards these solutions thanks to the things that happen in the world. So
yeah,
it's not gonna be pretty per se how people will be pushed in this direction, but yeah, in the end, it's gonna be interesting to see how governments are going to react.
Right.
Like, what's the latest in India? Like, what the government has made it some kind of legal, right?
Yeah,
It's not illegal anymore.
It's not illegal, it's legal, but it's taxed very high. So we have
Mhm.
TDS and we have all this. Oh, that's another story. But I get what you're saying. Like, we can never say, because we never knew 2 years back that this would be happening right now. So we can never say, but it's good to see that more and more people are interested about it. So obviously, like you said, more and more people will find ways to use it and use it well.
Yeah, like more developers come, the builders, the group of builders is increasing. Also, non-builders are joining.
Mm-hmm.
The group is growing, and that's a good thing. So, like, we're all on the same page. We need to build epic decentralized solutions for finance and for art and collectibles, and soon this group will just be, or is it already maybe too big to stop? Like, especially with a proper decentralized network behind it, because one thing to point out, like we are talking about decentralization and saying why it's so cool and why it's needed, but still, like, a great example from Ethereum was that suddenly a few weeks back, Iranian artists suddenly couldn't access their NFTs anymore through MetaMask.
Yeah.
Because the American government forbid it.
Yeah.
And MetaMask used a certain node provider that was based out of the US. So like, Ethereum is decentralized, the network, but then the projects building on top of it are not. So they can be sanctioned again. So like, that needs to be solved, because otherwise, like, this is just all just an expensive, a very expensive hobby for all of us.
That is so true. Wow. Yeah, that is so true. So lastly, I just want to ask you one thing. What would your suggestions or advice be for someone who is interested or wants to get involved with blockchain or Web3? What would your suggestions or advice be? How can they start? Where should they start?
Come to one of the events of Tezos India, or join one of the many Tezos focused Twitter spaces. I'm getting more and more into that, like just dropping into many of these spaces that community members are holding. We're also doing one weekly with Plenty on Saturday. Usually have amazing guests there, but still, like, we found out that we're going still too deep, too technical. We should definitely do more blockchain 101s, DeFi 101s, NFTs 101s. Yeah, like, make this easier to access. There are many resources out there, but still, yeah, I agree that it becomes outdated really fast. Also, because Tezos continuously upgrades, like, the network changes and the documentation needs to be updated. And yeah, there's also an opportunity for someone who is passionate about that, about writing educational content. There are so many opportunities in this space, but if you want to get started, yeah, definitely drop in one of these spaces and join the conversation, ask questions. Everybody's very helpful, or in Discord even. You can always DM me as well. I can point you in the right directions. Or if you're really passionate, just send me an email if you want to join Tezsure or one of the other projects that we're building, or through Tezos India. You can be introduced to other Tezos builders and collaborate. So yeah, there's so many things possible, and everybody's very collaborative and wants to help. So yeah, maybe it's not like that on one website all the latest stuff is there. Most of the stuff is there, for example, Tezos.com, but still, this space is so fast moving that I think to get all the latest info, Twitter is your best place to be. Like, follow the projects there, follow a few people that have a lot of followers in the Tezos space, and then you can stay up to date, because that's more of the challenge right now than to really learn the basics. Staying up to date with everyone, with all these projects, that's a day job in this space.
True. That is so true. That is so true. Wow, Bernd, this was a blast for me, because
Nice. Same
yeah,
here, man.
it was an amazing episode. I think you dropped a lot of truth bombs, and you said a lot of things straight. So a lot of them will definitely be more interested to be a part of Tezos or just Web3 in general and learn a little bit more about it. And more people should be adopting this, and maybe it will come very soon. We never know, or it'll all just go away. we can never say. So,
or we go to the moon, or we go to zero, right?
That's it. There is only two ways of it. Thank you so much, man. It was great talking to you. And I hope you come back and share your wisdom very soon with us.
See you next time.
See you next time.